Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, the Three Topics Gamer, here to give you another episode of my weekly Q&A to how the people's questions, where I answer a series of questions that have been sent to me over the past week. For this particular episode, I only have about 4 questions, and they're all pretty basic. They're all from regulars, so nothing new. There were a couple of questions that were sent to me in the comment section I was able to answer there, so make sure you've had your notifications bells rung to know when I answered your questions if I did them there. And before I get into the questions, like always, if you happen to enjoy this video by the end, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and press the subscribe button. And jump right into the first question, coming from Brady Burke, and you want to know, can Virgil redeem himself knowing his actions brought death and destruction to the human world? He's got really nothing to be redeemed for. I mean, Virgil has never, as crazy as it sounds, but Virgil has never directly killed a human. In fact, none of the Sparta descendants have ever directly killed a human. I mean, if you want to say, should Virgil be redeemed because of his actions, you should ask, what about Dante? I mean, just him being in an area and getting humans killed because he was there, you could say, should Dante be redeemed for that? I mean, he moves into a town, and it suddenly gets infested with demons that are out to kill him, and in the process, they end up killing a bunch of humans in order to do so. Should Dante be blamed for that because he chose to live in a certain place? No. And you can say the same thing about Nero. Nero lives in a certain town that has a bunch of humans that get wiped out because he just so happens to be there. Should Nero be redeemed or blamed for these deaths? Some could say yes, some might say no. But in terms of Virgil's position, no. He has nothing to be redeemed for. I mean, think about it. I mean, in Devil May Cry 3, what did he do? He rose a gigantic demonic tower. Did some people probably get killed in the process? Maybe, but heck, he didn't mean to intentionally do that. And he doesn't think about that, because that's Virgil's position. He legitimately is just not fond of humans. He doesn't hate humans, but he's just not fond of them. And then, you know, he didn't really do anything in Devil May Cry 1 because he was under someone else's control. And then when he kind of comes back, he splits himself in two. So you can't even say he's, like, directly involved, because he has, like, he's kind of split his personality or soul in 2 parts. So, like, his more demonic side is doing all the bad stuff, while his, like, less demonic part is doing some good things and trying to fix things. So yeah, I think he's trying to kind of fix his own situation by himself. So yeah, going back to your basic question, no, he doesn't need to be redeemed because he feels nothing. He's just doing his own thing, and that's Virgil's personality. So yeah. Next question comes from Jared Desis Gaming. You want to know, do I think the Fantastic Okay, this is weird. Okay, if I say this how it was written, it's going to sound funny. Do I think the Fantastic Beats as in music, Fantastic Beats films, which there aren't any, but I think you mean Fantastic Beasts, so you might want to check your writing there, are going to be as bad as the Star Wars sequels? Well, you can't really say that because most of them haven't been made yet. We don't even know if they're going to even make the next 3. We don't know. So I don't think it's fair to criticize them at this point. I mean, 1 was okay, and then 1 I just didn't care for. As far as I know, there might still be 3 more, so I think we should wait if they come out first, and then we can pass judgment on them. So, yeah, I can't really say. Maybe they might learn from their mistakes from the last one and try to make them better. We don't know. We don't know who's writing. We don't know who's directing. We don't know the direction that they're going to go, so I think we should wait before we pass judgment. Trust me, when it comes to Star Wars and Harry Potter, they're in 2 vastly different positions right now. So yeah, I don't think it's fair. Next question comes from the Batman from Gotham. You want to know, considering how long you've been a YouTuber, what are some of the biggest mistakes that I think I've made while running this channel? Not doing enough research early on. Maybe not having a good enough or definitive analytical structure. Not having the right equipment at certain times. Maybe not doing enough collaborations, which, believe it or not, that's very, very hard to do, even now. Not branding myself fast enough, not figuring stuff. It basically simply deals with, if I took the knowledge I have now, and could send it to my younger self 8 years ago, if my younger self had the information I knew, I'd be able to start things a lot sooner. A lot of things have changed these past 8 years that I didn't know at the time. I think had I known them, I would have definitely been able to start things a lot sooner. I think that's probably my biggest mistake. So, yeah. And the last question of the episode comes from Venom Rules All, and you want to know, do I think that Nemesis is more powerful in the remake than the original? If so, why do I think so? No, I don't think he's more powerful. I think they're on even terms. I think it just depends on how you structure them. I mean, I would say their base forms are pretty on par with each other. I mean, one doesn't seem all that more powerful than the other. And then when you get to their second transformations, I think the remake version is a little bit more animalistic, while the original version is more of just a berserker. And then when you get to their third forms, I would say that's where it's the most defined. But even in the remake, I still don't even know how that one was created. Because as far as I can recall, they melted that thing. So, I mean, at least in the original, they acknowledged that the Nemesis corpse got kind of tossed in with like a dead tyrant corpse, and it absorbed that corpse, and that allowed it to transform into its third form. For the remake, we don't even know how that transformation happened, and so I can tell it's bigger and it might be a little bit more powerful, but I still don't really know exactly how it was made as compared to the original. So I would say in that context, I'd say maybe the third form is more powerful than the original, but only because I don't know exactly how it was made. And it was a much bigger enemy. The original third form was able to move around, and they were both taken out by the same in the same way. So there's that. So I would only say the remake is more powerful than the original in the third form, but not the first two forms, simply because we don't know exactly how it was made, how the third form was even made. And that'll pretty much do it for this episode. I want to thank the four of you for sending your questions, as well as everyone else that sent in your questions that I was able to answer in the comment section of the last video. If you guys have any more questions you'd like me to answer in next week's episode, be sure to type them in the comments down below, and make sure you get them into me roughly before Wednesday before noon, before I start filming the next episode. And remember that it is only one question per person. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next week.